All right, so good evening, all of us, and you are welcome to the strategic case study, lecture one. Actually, the strategic case study course doesn't have any boundary. It doesn't have any boundary, and so it involves everything that you have learned so far in your university days, in your corporate reporting life, audit life, all the other courses that you have done. All right, but majorly, the case study actually is coming from management accounting. Management accounting. And the management accounting will help us focus on this part, management. And so it's more of internal issues. So you see, if you have done the things of balance scorecard, EMA, and all those things, they are all in strategic case study, but they are in man accounting, highly or hugely examined. But the thing is that some of us skipped man accounting, so we had exemption. All right. Then this is level 2. Number 2, and majorly, I think this is the worrying part of the case study that gets people a lot, is financial management. Financial management. That is the part that worries people a lot in this course. That one too is level 2. So unfortunately, most of us also had exemption. We didn't write that paper. Then lastly, we have BMIS, Business Management Information System. So you'll be seeing this management. This is level 1. But the thing is that you have skipped all these things. Good news is that you didn't skip advanced audit and assurance. So that one too is part of your case study, because you'll be learning things of corporate governance. And this one has it all. Business valuation, acquisition and merger, risk management, that affects sort of risk management and stuff. They are all there. So, and this one, you have it. So it makes corporate governance a little bit easier. All right. So these are the issues. So what we will be doing is that we'll be meeting twice a week, if you have observed. So we are meeting on Mondays. And so for the Mondays will be pure theoretical. And we are looking at the strategies. We will be looking at all of them. It will be pure theoretical. And we also have a class on Wednesday. Maybe in future, probably we will have to change the timetable. But as it is, this is what it is. So on Wednesdays, what we will be doing will be financial management. So it will be a class, a combined class with the level 2 students. And we are starting afresh financial management. You realize that everything that we'll be doing here is also in financial management. So people who do level 2 financial management and this one, they don't really struggle in the case study. It's a free flow like that. But that is why you have joined the class, so that we can also make it easier for you. So that is how it is going to be. So at this point, if you have any question, you can ask before I move on to the main thing that we are doing today. If there is any question, you can ask. All right. Okay. So if there is no question, today we are looking at the whole course. I will take time. I don't want to start giving you an outlook of the exam, how you write it right now. But I need you to get something, some fundamentals. Then we will start looking at how you start analyzing a case study question. So we will look at that. But for now, let's try and get some fundamentals. It's very important that we get that. And so please, in as much as I've shared with you a document which I'm using, I would kindly ask that you buy a fresh exercise book, okay? Buy a fresh exercise book. And the assignments too, I would want you to write, not type. I would want you to write your answer, take a nice scan of it, then you will send it to me. So today, if you check your document, there is an assignment there. We are going to analyze Airbnb. So you will do that a rough for me to know how, get some feedback of how you write your answer so that I can guide you on that. It's very, very important. Very, very, very important. All right. So today we start with the whole concept of strategic case study. All right. Please, are we ready? Let me hear from you. Are we ready? Mr. Eric, are you ready? Cornelius, are you ready? Edna, are we ready? Lordina,
Yes,
are we
sir.
good to go? All right. So if we are good to go, then let's start with this word strategy. Let's start with the word strategy. Because everything is centered on strategy. And there are so many definitions for strategy. So we are looking at strategy, the introduction to strategy, because the word strategic case study is coming from strategy. Now, when we say strategy, there are so many definitions of strategy, and I've given it to you in the manual, but we want to look at some of them, analyze them, and find out how we can implement it when we are solving a case study question. That is the most important thing that we need to acknowledge, because it's not about you reading the theory, about you translating what you do into the exam. So we are going to learn 4 definitions of strategy, and I will summarize the definition into one definition, and we will explain the definition, go into it, look at some features into it. All right, because today my main objective is to achieve 5 things, and I hope I'm able to do that. So let me outline the 5 things for you. So my main objective is to, 1, introduce to you strategy, the concept of strategy. So we will try and understand what strategy is. All right, when we talk strategy. Then number 2, my second objective for this class is to talk about the purpose of strategy. The purpose of strategy. And then number 3, what we will be looking at in this regard will be the levels of strategy. And please, all these things are syllabus required. You check the syllabus. This is what we will. The syllabus is going to be from 2024 to 2029. So we will look at that. Then number 4, we are looking at the elements of strategic management, like the strategy framework. Strategy framework, or you can also call it the element of strategic management. We will look at that. Then lastly, the last thing that I will try to look at is what we call the strategic drift. These are the 5 main things. The key thing is these ones. You have to be very careful. This one is what we will use to analyze, try to learn how to analyze a case study question. So basically that is that. All right, so now let's pick the first one and talk about the concept of strategy. Like I said, there are so many definitions, and I've served you some of them. The entire definitions that we are basing our class on. So you have the notes. All right, but let's talk about it. The first definition that we are going to analyze is from Chandler, Alfred. These are the fathers of management. So we are going to analyze Chandler's definition. Alfred Chandler. But you don't need to memorize it. That's why we will develop our own understanding of it. You don't need to memorize it. Now, before I go on, you've heard of it before. You've heard of the word strategy before. When you hear strategy, what did you hear about it? Because your personal understanding of it helps rather than you memorizing a definition. When you say strategy, what is that? In Ghana, we don't really call it strategy. In Ghana, we call it, what is your secret? That is what we say. What is your secret? So when you hear somebody asking you your secret, what do you think that thing is about? Yeah. So what is strategy? What is it about? Yes. Any. I just need one or two contribution, and that thing is very important. This is like teaching audit. The students' understanding is very, very important. So anyone, when we say strategy, or you've done something, you have achieved something, and they ask you, what was your secret? What do you think the question is about? Yes. Please feel free and let's have something. Let's enjoy the class. Yeah. Anyone? Anyone? So somebody like Cornelius, you had a first class. What was your secret? How do you think you came about with the first class?
Okay, so it was just mainly the midnight learning. While my colleagues
Midnight
were
early earning.
no midnight learning.
Midnight learning. Okay.
Yes. So whenever my colleagues are asleep, maybe around 2 to 5, that's the time that I burn the night candle and then make sure that I cover it enough before I go to class.
Yeah. So that's a nice one. If you have something to share, like anything, like your secret, you achieve something one day and they ask you what's your secret. Because we don't say strategy, sometimes we think it's a different thing, but it's actually the same thing. Yeah. So what do you think of that? We will go into Chandler's definition, but I just want us to. So with what Cornelius you said, that is what we are going to develop something out of to understand strategy. Yes, if you have something to say. Mr. Eric, you have something to tell us. If you can go ahead. Yeah, if you can unmute and go ahead.
So concerning the strategy I used to study.
Anything at all. Strategy
Okay,
you ever
so
used to do something, yes.
I just when I wake up, normally I write what I want to do during the day
Okay.
on a paper, then I try and follow it.
All
And
right.
I wake up at dawn to study too.
So the
Yeah, those
strategy
are my strategy.
is that's a strategy, and that thing is actually in a book we have read, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's called proactiveness. It is part of it. So now, those are the things. So when I give you the final definition of strategy, you realize that, oh, okay, so this is what we are going to be learning, and this is what the whole concept is about. So you pick it up from there. All right. So when we start analyzing the case, don't forget your basic understanding that you've had. All right. It's very important so that you don't rely on book. So we are looking at these definitions that the following people have given. So this one says that strategy is you trying to determine. So it says is the determination of the long-term goals. Long-term goals and objective of an entity. And the adoption of courses of action, which includes the allocation of resources. allocation of resources necessary to carry out those goals. Now, let me ask you a question. Colinius, number one. Do you see the definition that you gave me? The description that you gave me. Do you see it in this definition? Yeah. So you burning the night candle. Do you see it in the definition?
Yes.
So which part? Which part? Where do you see
So
it?
that's the necessary to carry out the
Exactly.
target.
So the adoption of the courses of actions necessary, which include the allocation of resources anyway, necessary to carry out those goals.
Yes.
So probably your goal was to come out being a good student or graduate with the first class or anything, or achieve anything in life. So yeah, so when it comes to strategy, Chandler is saying that there must be something you are looking at. And when you look at that thing in your mind's eye, so that thing you are looking at is the long-term objective. So when you look at that thing in your mind's eye, then you are now going to adopt some courses of action. So what we are coming to do is very important, and my focus will be about this part of the definition, from this part to this part of the definition. So strategy or the secret is more of the activity you did to be able to achieve what you wanted to achieve. That is what the strategy mainly is about. So yes, you know your long-term objective, and you are going to adopt certain things to do to be able to achieve it. So that is where Chandler is coming from. Then we have Michael Porter. I think it's a popular name, right? Michael Porter. Michael Porter looks at strategy with the lens of having an advantage over your competitor. That is what he looks at. So he is looking at something that gives you competitive advantage. All right. So he says that strategy is being different. When you talk of strategy, it's being different. So it's being distinct. And what do we mean by that? He is saying that to be distinct, therefore, means that you are making deliberate choice. All right. So of a set of action, or a deliberate choice of a set of activities or actions to deliver a unique mix of value. All right. So do you also see your definition somewhere here? Do you see the effectiveness of your definition somewhere here? The definition that you gave us, do you see any part of this definition that talks about it?
Yes.
Which part? Yes, which part?
So the set of activities
The
to
set of
deliver
activities.
Yes.
Exactly. So you see that here too, there is a set of activities. So a deliberate choice. And please, like I said, I'm not really, moved with these things, you trying to memorize the definitions. No, that is not the way to go. But when we therefore bring you a question and we are asking you for the strategy in the case, you should therefore be able to know that I am looking for a certain set of activity the person is doing. Have you seen that? So that is where you need to look at this thing from. And that set of activities the person is doing is making him distinct. So it is making him different. And you see, it is also in here because once, like Cornelius said, you are learning at 2 a.m. every time. That is your set of activity. And it makes you distinct from your fellow students. That's it. If you're able to do those things well, it makes you distinct. So when we are talking about strategy, it is nothing but what Ghanaian here in Ghana we ask, what is your secret? Being what you consistently do. So be mindful of that. So if in the case you are asked to identify the strategy of somebody, I think you should be able to do that. All right. That is the most important thing you must get out of this. Then we come to Peter Drucker. You remember these names in university, right? The management theories. All right. All these people. Now, this one is about gaining competitive advantage. So it's just like this one, so that you can have something above your competitor. So it is talking about strategy as a firm's theory. A strategy is an entity's theory. About how to gain competitive advantage. All these things you see in the notes that I have done for you. So that is that. What you do,
and then you see them going through.
Get competitive advantage. So basically, that is that. All right. So take note of these. Take note of these. All right. So the last definition that I'm going to give you will be coming from Henry Minsburg. That's the German. Who says that strategy is just a pattern in a stream of decisions. A pattern in a stream of decisions. So, ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about a strategy, you see that the pattern has also shown up here. So, what is your secret? What is the strategy? What is your secret? What is the strategy? We are talking about the consistent action that you will take to help you meet an objective. So that should be what should be in your mind. That's all. That's all. Not really memorizing the definition. So I personally, I've gone through the definition of strategy and I gave you one in the manual that I served you. So I am thinking that when I see anything strategy, so if a question is asking me a strategy, a question is asking me this, a question is asking me that, what should be the entity strategy? What will be the entity strategy? What is the strategic choice? What strategy should the person adopt? I am therefore looking at something that is flexible, because you have to change as things change, but comprehensive, a detailed something. So you remember, if you said that you write your to-do list. So it is flexible. It must be flexible sometimes so that you can adjust to things. So I'm looking at a flexible but a comprehensive pattern of activities. Pattern of activities. Or plan. Or approach. All right, that is designed. So if you designed it in your, notebook or something, your small handbook, and adopted, you just don't leave it there. You design and you adopted it. All right, so that you will be able to achieve a long-term goal or objective. So this is my concluding definition about a strategy, because like I said, when we talk of strategy, the best part of the definition is that we are achieving something, and that thing we are achieving is long term. But what will help us achieve that thing is basically the plan or the sequence of activities that we are talking about. So that is basically the overarching definition that we can learn from this. Any question at this point? Because we are coming to zoom into this definition and grow from it, because the question is all about strategy. Question is all about strategy. All right. So the key features, therefore, you will see it in your notes, so I won't actually write much. So the key features, therefore, of this definition is that we've gone through all the 5 definitions, all right? But the key feature that you should remember is that there has to be flexibility. So we call it adaptability. So in all the definitions, there is adaptability, which simply means that there must be flexibility, your ability to change as the environment is changing. Ability to change as environment is changing. So you saw that in the definition, all right? It is flexible but comprehensive, okay? Then another thing that you see about a strategy is that it is also an embodiment of your decision-making framework. So if you are, like you said, you know, when you write a thing down and somebody comes to disturb you, you know, you can have the audacity to say that I am not into this for now, right? So it guides your decision making. So an entity, if an entity has a strategy, then that is what it will be looking at, nothing else. But just that when something changes in the environment, you are also likely to change, all right, to meet the situation. All right, so basically that is that. And you also saw in the definition that resources are needed. So you need to be able to identify resources and also allocate the resources. You saw that, and it was part in the first definition. Yes, it was part in the first definition. So you are going to adopt the necessary courses, all right, which include the allocation of resources. So that is that. So you will see that resource identification and allocation is part of strategy. It's part of strategy. And so you will later see that all these things that I'm writing, JW help us to understand that these are the approaches you solve a strategic case study questions. You will see it later. So you have this allocation. Then you saw in the definition that this one makes you so distinct, and therefore it is to help you have competitive advantage. Competitive advantage. You saw it in the definition. These are key features of it. Lastly, you realize that all these things that we are doing, it is for a purpose, and the purpose is to be able to achieve our mission or vision, or let's say our main purpose. So it is mission, vision, or purpose oriented. You saw in the definitions that it is to achieve a long-term goal or objective. You saw it. So major definitions brought that thing. You also saw it. So achieve a goal. You saw them. All right. So these are key features. If you can define a strategy and bring all these things inside it, then it means that you have a grip of what a strategy is about. All right. So basically, that is that. So what you see is that in discussing a strategy, there is a long-term aspect, but you are standing here. Yeah, I think I have a question. It said my volume is a bit down. Okay. All right. So, guys, is it better? Is it better, please? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
All right, that's fine. Okay, so Eugene, check your sound as well, okay? Check the volume of your sound also. All right, thank you. So that is that. Now, there is something you see about strategy, and I'm going to use a graph to do it. And you will do the same thing for me. I'll give you a case. The case that is in your assignment, when you're analyzing it, all these things, you have to do it for me. All right. So you will see that in the definition of strategy, we are looking at a business trying to achieve something. But sometimes for a profit-making entity, you realize that it's a shareholder wealth maximization, or let's say you want to make profit. All right. So there is this curve, the long-term objective of an entity. This long-term objective is expressed in a curve. It's expressed in a curve. And it has 3 patterns to it. And I just want to show you those things that we move on. So I think I didn't draw it in your notes. I'm not sure I did that. So let's say this is your profit potential. For every business, there is a profit potential. And we are looking at time, which is expressed in years. So once you start the business, you are at some point, and we call this one your horizon 1 or horizon 1, depending on how you want to pronounce it. And at this point, what you see here is you focusing on your current course of business, your current core business. So I will be using this class as an example. The core business of Universal Institute for Professional Development, which you've joined, UIPD. The core business is to render tuitions for all professional courses. So it doesn't matter if you want to be a seamstress. There is another aspect of this this UIPD that you see that is handling masonry, seamstress people, and all those things. So do you trying to be a professional in certain things? This part that you see me fronting is for ICA. Yeah. Then there is another part that looks at CIT. There's another part that looks at the other courses. So that is basically what it is. But what you see me do is the ICA aspect. So the core business here is tuition. So here, every business is trying to defend the core business. So we need to have a strong foundation. But there comes a time that you grow on your core business, and over there, you are looking at emerging opportunities to also go into. Now, I will give you a typical example. So emerging opportunities for UIPD is that it can see that, oh, as an institute, therefore, you can be conducting research. You can be consulting. You see, the core at this point is about providing tuition. That is what it's about. But there is an opportunity for this one to hit a research angle or to see a consulting angle. It is all in the time frame. Then the third horizon, so you call this, the last part is for the business to see future growth areas. And very soon you will hear of this institute, future growth areas. The future growth area is therefore to become a university. So this is how UPSA developed. This is how it developed. So the timing perspective of every entity, that long-term aspect that we are talking about, in correlation to its profit potential, these are it. So if you start a business, you must look at where you are. So in your manual, I think I used Tesla as an example. When Tesla is starting, all that it is looking at is the original model that is set down. So like a maintenance sort of business. So it is maintaining things, maintenance sort of. So you create, you bring your product, they maintain it, especially your car and all those things sort of. All right. And they made a car with maintenance. So, in foreign land, when you buy a car, like even here, when you buy a car, Rana Motors, they'll give you 1 year maintenance and all those things. So it starts like that. Then after that, it builds on the emerging business. Soon, Tesla decided to make mega batteries, so that cars are not using fuel like we know. They are now using batteries. You've heard of that, right? That they don't use fuel anymore. They are using batteries. Is that not it? You've heard of it? So you see that now the Tesla cars are using batteries. They are not using fuel, they are charging. Very soon, they will tell us that the batteries are producing sustainability problems, and therefore they will be using, and they have started. I think if you are abreast with news, that is why they have been going into space. They want to get to a point where they are using solar for you to drive. Yeah. And they want the transportation to be space transport rather than we driving on they want us to use space transport, regular space transport. So they are doing research, future growth. That is where the research is gearing to. So that is what they are doing. Here is purely R&D. So if you look at Tesla, you can see. So the timing thing that we are talking about, in talking about strategy, you saw that we are looking at, basically, apart from the features, embodiment of these features, you are looking at the organization. There is an entity. It is not in a vacuum. There is an entity. So there is an organization, and we will look at that. We call that an internal appraiser. We will look at that. There is an organization. Not only that, the organization has a long-term vision that they are trying to look at, all right? And to achieve that, they need a strategy. So this is all that thing is about, a strategic direction. So these are the three things that you see that is deep into the definition of what we are learning. So that is the strategy thing for you. So for the purposes of this class, that is me introducing the strategy concept. So this one is achieved. Now, any question at this point? Any question at this point? So if I ask you strategy, like I said, the Ghana man doesn't say, what is your strategy? He asks you, what is your secret? Which means, what have you been doing? So the strategy is more of the activities that you do. So if you look at an entity, for example, we are looking at what the entity is known of doing. And what an entity is known of doing is what you see in this type of graph that I just drew for you. So in a very limited time, you will see the core activity of the business, what they are doing and how they are going about it. But you also see that the organization is exploring opportunities. And once they mount on that, they are now thinking about future growth areas. All right. So basically that is that. So please, any question at this point before we move on to the purpose of a strategy?
Okay, so can we say that the horizon one, that one, does it fall under the mission statement?
The mission statement?
Yes.
Well, at this point, we are looking at what the entity is actually doing. Yeah, so you can say that because they are set up to do a core business activity, you can categorize that thing as a mission. Then the one on top, what do you think that one will be?
That will now be their vision.
Exactly. So you see the on top one, what they aspire to do in the future. That's very good. All right. So that is that. And that is what I'm coming to. When we talk about the purpose of strategy, those are the purposes of strategy. When we say purpose of strategy, so the activity, that your secret, that series of activity, distinct activity that you are doing, what is its purpose? Why are you doing that? Obviously, you realize that the purpose of that thing is to be able to achieve your mission, your vision. through your values, you need to achieve these things, the objectives and goals. This is why you develop a strategy. That is it. That is it. I think that when I was growing up and I found out that, oh, I'm going to be working for some people, like I'm going to work in an industry. Do you know, I actually told myself that I will be working 3 years in each company until I find where I ought to be, my mission. My mission. Yeah. So if I now find my mission, then I'll be focusing on achieving my mission, but having the best of being the best in achieving my mission, which will be my vision. That is it. Now, so I started work in church. So I started working for the Church of Pentecost. Then I moved to a petroleum sector, and I was working for a bulk distribution company, a BDC. Then I moved from there to come to Tema Harbor to do this shipment, shipping and all those things as an accountant. Then I found no fulfillment. So I said that, okay, whilst I was doing that, I was actually teaching alongside. But anytime I'm in the teaching, I feel fulfilled then. But at the time, the teaching is not giving you anything. So I sat down and I'm thinking about it. Okay, so if that is the case, I have all the professional certificates in my field. I have my ICA, I have my CIT. I have I'm part of ICAG. I'm looking at certified internal audit CIA. So once everything is done, I still don't find what I want. So I then decided to go to campus to Legon to do my MPhil and see. At that time, I felt like that is it. So when I went there, that was it. They never let me leave again. So it's like, that is it. Do this assistant job, do this assistant job, do this assistant job. That's why I'm stuck in the University of Ghana. Sometimes I feel like coming back, but you see, that is it. So the purpose of mine working 3 years, I never exceeded 3 years in all the sectors, apart from this school thing that it has happened, that this is the 3rd year I'm in now. Yeah. So that is it. So it's a strategy, and that thing is like something that I've inculcated in myself and I am doing. So the action is to work 3 years here, gain the experience so that it will foster the teaching 3 years here, then you move on. So the purpose of that is to get to some point, a long-term objective. And the long-term objective, maybe you having a mission and being the best in that achievement of the mission, which becomes your vision. All right, having being able to achieve your value, because you want to place those things on yourself, known for integrity and all those things, or achieve your objective. All right, we are coming to look at this in detail. Okay, so that is that. All right, that is it. So now, but you see that in all these things, you don't sit down. These things are affected by what we call stakeholders, and we will learn those things. Because imagine me wanting to teach and there are no students. What do you think will happen? What do you think will happen? So you have a stake in my mission. We will look at that thing extensively, and if you check your lecture schedule, you realize that that thing is part of that. All right. So the objective here, we are looking at these 4 things. Yeah, these 4 things. So there is one woman in management expert who is a management expert, who is called Cynthia. I think she is also a German. And she says that whenever we talk of strategy, you should focus on how organization is making a difference. So the purpose is for you to make a difference. And these are your difference. I mean, you having these things. And for whom? For whom are you making the difference? So you see, the stakeholders. So having this and who you are doing it for is very, very important. So if you yourself, you are a stakeholder, and you are also doing it for other people. You do know, I don't in this life, I don't know. I've come to a point where, like last month, when your results come, and I get the message that say I made it. Oh my goodness. That vibe alone, it causes you to teach the thing out of your heart, that kind of thing. So when we are looking at the purpose of strategy, we are looking at you making a difference, and making a difference in this life is you achieving your objective. That is what it's all about. Achieving your vision. That is all it is all about. And once you do that, who did you do it for? That's why the Christian will say, do it for Christ. So that is the concept. Who did you do it for? Who did you do it for? All right. So these are the things. But I've already served you the things about all these 4 things. So let's just wrap it up. What did you get from when we say mission? What's your understanding of a mission? When we say mission, what do you think a mission is about? Yes. So Cornelius, the question you asked.
Okay.
Yes, if
So,
okay, Cornelius, you can go ahead.
Mission refers to the series of activities that an entity carries out towards achieving its vision.
All right. So what you do to achieve your vision, that's what he says. Yes, any other person? Yes, what is a mission? I'm on a mission. What is a mission? Oh, feel free. Let's have them. Let's have them. K, what is a mission? Eugene, any idea on what a mission is? Yes. A mission. Mr. Eric is no more here. He's gone. Millicent, any idea what a mission is? Hello?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
So it means like a purpose, something you have specific, an objective.
An objective, something specific.
Yeah.
All right. So Eugene says that reason why an organization exists. Okay. So that's fine. All right. So that is it anyway. So what you are actually there to do. You know, in Ghana, in P, we ask you, I had your boko, baby, I will feel like, what do you want? What's your visit about? So what's your reason? What's your reason? So your reason for existence. So this is where this man, is it Miles Monroe? He said, if you don't know the reason why you are in this earth, then you are the poorest person. In fact, you are the one that people should pity. Yeah. Because you will never get fulfillment because you don't know where you are going. You don't know why you are there. So when we talk about a mission, we are talking about what business an entity is in. Like Colinio said, what they do, what they are doing. Yes, what they fundamentally exist to do. All right. So what you exist to do. All right. What business are we in? So that's the question there. The question of mission is, what business are we in? So please, if you get the case and you finish reading and you have been asked to identify the mission, you should be able to. What business is the person in? What are they set up to do? They will describe the thing long, but you will have to couch it. All right, you have to couch it. So Minsburg describes the mission thing as the organization basic function in a society. So that thing Cornelius was talking about, what you are doing. So the basic function. What are you doing? Your basic function in a society in terms of product and services. So what are you doing? All right. And the focus here is to customers. All right. So basically that is that. Then when we talk about what business are we into, that's where you ask yourself, what would be lost if the organization didn't exist? What would be lost? If you don't exist, what will be lost? And if you exist too, how do you then make a difference? What do you do? What are you there? Why do you do what you do? These are the questions. So in there, you see in the notes that I gave you that Draka asked a question that what is our business and what is our value to our customers? What will be your business? Or what will your business be? Or what should your business be? Like, what should it all be about? Now, I remember when I was doing my master's and we were doing this mission thing, there was 9 characteristics of a mission. That number 1, the mission should talk about the customers as a stakeholder, the person you are looking at. The mission should talk about the product that or service that you deliver. The product or service. The mission should talk about the market. So that thing you are doing, where? Market. Mission should talk about technology, the involvement of technology. Mission should also be concerned with survivor, have concerns for survivor, and growth. Which, when we talk of growth, of course, we are looking at profitability and financial soundness, which we call financial well-being. Your mission should exhibit your philosophy. Your philosophy, how you want to go about things. Your self-concept. Your public image. We learned this thing. And so I remember one of the assignments we were given was, and also concern for employees. One of the assignments we were given was to look at every mission statement, if it has all these elements. All right, just a minute. Let me bring the notes that I gave you. Let's analyze some of the things there. Okay. So we've gone through all these things. Yeah. So this is the first question. The first question that you'll be checking to do. So here in this first work, you are supposed to identify how Tesla's motto strategy fits into the various strategy definitions. You remember the strategy definitions. So you are supposed to read it and you will be writing for me. That's an assignment too. You'll be writing for me. So this is the definition. Yeah, strategy. So what you need to do is to discuss how Tesla's motto strategy fits into the various definitions. You remember the things that we said are supposed to be in the definition? Do you remember? What are some of the things that are supposed to be found in the definition of a strategy? Yes. What are some? This is the exam, so this is how your exam is. So nobody is going to ask you what is a strategy. No. Yes. Anything.
Adaptability.
Adaptability. Okay, where do you find that? So where in this strategy do you find adaptability? That's the thing. So fine, I remember we talked about the features. I remember, and we even talked about, we grouped, later on I grouped them into three main: the organization, the what do you call it? The strategic direction that they are taking, and also the long-termism. All right, but you remember the adaptability. That's fine. So you have to tell me where in this definition where there is adaptability. You have to tell me the decision making. Does it talk about resource identification and allocation? Does the definition talk about competitive advantage? Does the definition show us the vision, the mission, or the objective of the entity, the long term? So you are going to take it and analyze it that it meets some of the things in every definition. So you will do that, and please, you have to do these things. Listen to me. This is how students sometimes you behave, and it affects your exams results. At this point, when we say do this and you decide not to do it, it proves that you didn't learn. That's the thing. But if you really learned, then you want to prove that you learned something. And so this is the reason why these things are there. So you shouldn't exempt yourself from answering the question. If you don't answer the question, how best do you think the tutor can help you? How? So sometimes, I taught audit the last time. And for me, any person who did all the assignment that was given stood a good chance of passing. All of them, not some of them. All of them. Because the assignment covers all the aspects of the syllabus. So sometimes it is, those things matter. It matters. So please, I hope you will do that. You will do it. And that was me achieving objective 1 of the whole thing. Then when we came to objective 2, where I'm talking about the purpose, after identifying the purpose, you are supposed to, this is somebody's mission statement. You are supposed to conduct a mission matrix. When we say a mission matrix, use the 9 things that I've spoken about here, the components of a mission. You have these notes. And tell me which of them are present in the mission statement. This is the mission statement. So which of these things are present? Which of the 9 things are present? So we talk about the customers. We've identified a vision, that in a strategy there is a purpose, and in the purpose you are doing it for somebody. What are you doing? Product. The geographical location. Where does the firm compete? Technology. Is the firm technologically current? Is parts. Check every entity's mission. Check. Is there concern for survival? What is the firm basic belief, their values and their ethical priorities? That thing they are doing, they want to achieve. What are the values they are going to use to achieve it? The self-concept. What is the firm distinct competence that they have above their competitors? What we call competitive advantage. The concern for public image. This is where ESG come in. Integrated reporting and corporate social responsibility. This is where it comes in. Then concern from. So if you read this definition, tell me which of the 9 things you see in the definition. That is how strategic case study questions come. You see, you think so you have to kind of apply the thing. That is how it is. All right. If you're able to do that, then fine. All right. So you go ahead, you read the relevance of a mission statement. It's like the advantages of planning. Yes, because you need to, everybody must have a mission statement. Everybody. So that is that. So the relevance is that it makes you consistent. I mean, it is good for the establishment of your goals because it is that which will help you have kind of being the best you are in achieving your mission, which becomes your vision. It inspires you, all right, provide common ground for group in the organization, assist in translating intentions to corporate objective. We will learn objective to be measurable, and it improves the understanding and support from external stakeholders. So you go through this, and that is it. Then we come to look at vision. We come and look at vision. Vision. So what then is vision? If you have understood a mission, what then is a vision? Any idea? Vision, eyesight, vision. What is a vision? It is not enough to actually know these definitions, but your ability to apply them in the cases, that matters a lot. All right, so what is a vision? When we look at a vision, we want to, is what do we want to achieve? What do you want to achieve? UIPD wants to be the one-stop shop for all students. One-stop shop for all students. Initially, what I used to do was that, and thanks be to one of you, I think he's offline. What I used to do was to teach for people and take salary. But a man saw me and gave me a word, like a foresight, a vision. And these people, this is not a prophet, or before you say prophetic, but the word he gave is a prophetic word. That's why. And so partners came for us to do the UIPD. It's just that I am the one who is centered for the ICA chapter. There are others. All right. So that is it. So basically that is that. So your vision is about what you want to achieve. If I ask you, you being in this ICA class, what is your vision in this class?
To pass.
To pass. Exactly.
Yeah.
To pass. To pass. And some are also not just to pass. Some people are saying to pass and get award. Yeah. You know, sometimes, that's why I am doing to this guy. I always encourage Cornelius. Sometimes you don't need to write application letter. If you have knowledge of certain things, you don't need to write application letter. If I had known this thing, and my CA, I would have blown it so that I don't write application letter. Now, you guys stand a chance of passing this ICA and passing it with higher marks. I mean, learn and pass it giddy giddy. No, there are some here who are already in their job. But as for you, we are in the office together. So this is the time you pass and pass like something that you don't need to write application letter. When you go to the graduation, you will see the audit firms lining up to pick you up, straightforward. So you need to be motivated by that vision and pass well, so that right there, they pick you up. You never wrote application letter in your life. It is possible like that. Unfortunately, we schooled in Kumasi. And Kumasi, information don't get there early because the parliament and the president office, it is here in Accra. It is even by the roadside. We thought when you are in Kumasi, you think that the president's place is it's like a separate place. But I realized that people we take trotro pass to circle. That's where the president's flat staff house is. So we didn't even know. All we were told is that ICA just pass. The person who told us was our lecturer. So he needed just pass. But if he had opened our eyes to the fact that if we can pass and we may not write application letter, oh my goodness, we would take that thing as a competition. Yeah, that's what would have happened. So me too, when I was writing ICA, all I needed was pass. I wasn't bothered. In fact, we were even told that if you write a paper and you see that you are passed, just walk out. Walk out. So I'll be going with my cap, finish writing the paper, and I walk out. Because I know I've answered the thing. You know, all you need is your console has balanced. If your console balances, then it means that everything is also yeah. So we go there. Once I start my question one and I balance my console, all the other standards and the ratio, oh goodness, what is left? But if they told us that if we pass well, and let's say corporate, so I think I have corporate reporting like is it 70 something. But if they are told us, no, I won't leave. No, I won't leave. I won't leave. Try and kill it. That is it. So please, that's the word for you. All right, just by the way. So that is it. So what do you want to achieve? What do you want to achieve? So basically, that is that. So that is for the vision. Then we come to the values. All right. Values are your principles. They are your principles that guide your strategy and your operations. So if you don't want to steal, you don't steal. No, you don't steal. Values are enduring such that circumstances cannot affect it. That is how it is. So they are ethical groundings. Nothing can change it. Unfortunately, apart from even the military men these days, their values are falling. Yeah. Their values are falling. Because we hear of military men being killed because they were chasing side chicks and they were killed. But there are other people. You see how Trump is doing things. He has some guided values. Whether you think that thing is affecting you badly or not, so far as he is doing that thing based on his values, he is gone. He is gone. Oh, don't deport them. They pay taxes, they do this. He doesn't mind. He is guided by value. If you want to be in a nation, be there properly through proper means. If not, you are away. It doesn't matter whether you pay your tax, you do everything nice or that. That thing, when I heard that thing he is doing, and me being a Christian, my deduction from that was that you can do all the good in this life, but if you've not accepted Jesus Christ, it doesn't go anywhere. That kind of thing is what Trump is doing. So you can be the best citizen in America, but so long as you didn't come to America through the proper channel, you are away bus. It's as simple as that. So there is fundamental values that guides people and what they are supposed to do. So that's what we call the core values, and every entity has some. All right, that is that. Then we come to the goals. I mean, the goals are such that they are like the objective. The difference between the goal is that the goal is expressed in narrative terms. So somebody say, I want to become the market leader. UIPD wants to be the class that everybody will come to. All right. Last semester or last night, I had this encouraging word. Somebody sent me a message, and I think it's on the platform. He said he didn't join this class. He joined as SPA, but he used our videos. He was writing corporate reporting, but he used the corporate reporting videos on YouTube to pass there. So when he goes to class, he now comes and sits and watch the video to get proper understanding. I received that message a lot, that the corporate reporting, if you want to get deeper understanding of the corporate reporting, this is the only class that you come to. Yeah, the others, they just do face brushing. Then you come to intervention, they will take the money to, it's all face brushing. Yeah. But if you have time, I have to go deeper into the things. You get your understanding. If you can't do the calculation, you write the understanding, you get your mark. As simple as that. But so the difference between the goals and the objective is that here you are looking at measurable targets. So it's like, it's not in narrative terms. How can you measure that you are the market leader? It can only come by the proportion of the market you control. So you control more than 50% of the market, you control 80% of the market. And because you can place the 80% on it, it becomes an objective. All right. So basically that is that. So we all have heard, I won't spend my time of this. We all have heard of this SMART objective, haven't we? Who has not heard of SMART objective before? So those are the characteristics of it. So that one you can go and look at it. All right. So basically that is that. So in all, you need to be able to develop your strategy statement, which should tell us your mission. You saw in the definition that in the strategy statement, they must be achieving a purpose. You saw that. In a strategy statement, they must tell us the organization's activities, all right, the secret, the activities. Then the competitive advantage that is delivering to them. All right, so basically that is that. So this is the second exercise that you have. So we have Samsung Electronics, read it. Southampton University strategy. So you look at all of them. Then the question is that construct, you are the one who is supposed to construct in this case. So construct a short strategic statement covering the things that we have learned. The things that we have learned. All right. So please, that is what. So it shouldn't be the number of words limit should be like it shouldn't exceed 100 or even 50. Just look at it and tell us the strategy that they are using. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, basically that is that. All right. Any question? Any question? All right. So you take a short break, like a 10 minutes break. So we move on to the third objective for the day, which is about the levels of strategy. Levels of strategy. You can also call it the level of strategic planning. All right. So we are looking at strategic planning. All right. So your syllabus wants us to talk about 4 of them. Okay. So let me show you. Yeah. So your syllabus wants us to talk about these levels: corporate strategy, business strategy, functional strategy, and operational strategy. So he groups them into 4. But generally, we've been learning 3, like as it has been in all various, because the 3 is actually given to us by the Johnson School and Wellington, the GSW, those people who are actually the frame workers of the strategic case study that we are doing. So we will go into this. So I just wanted to let you know that your syllabus looks at it for 4. All right. So take note of that. Take note of that. So we are looking at the first one, which is corporate strategy. Now, when we talk of corporate strategy, the focus of corporate strategy is about the overall scope and direction of an entity. Scope and direction of an entity. So we are looking at the overall. And so you realize that per what we've learned, when we talk of the overall, we are looking at the purpose. And the overall purpose, if you remember, here is where the mission is, why the entity exists. And when we learned how the entity exists, we are talking about how they distinct themselves. So we are looking at value addition, because the entity is existing to add value to society. So basically that is that. So we are looking at the overall scope, all right, of the entity. And I told you that the overall scope of an entity, this one, the mission and value addition, are affected by the owners and external people. So together we call them the stakeholders, because the shareholder is in it for shareholder wealth maximization. That's what he is in it for. We will learn that on Wednesday. The shareholder is in for shareholder wealth maximization. But in as much as you are a shareholder, you are under the umbrella of a stakeholder. And so you wanting your shareholder wealth maximization will have to come about dealing with customers. So it's not just about you alone. There are employees, there's the government, there are suppliers, and all those things that goes into it. So this aspect, the overall scope and direction of an entity, is actually what is planned as what we call corporate planning. So if you hear that there is a corporate meeting, that is what it is about. It is about what it's also what we call strategic planning. All right, planning for the overall direction of an entity. For example, if they go for such a meeting, a big meeting as such for corporate planning, for strategic planning, the kind of people who are in this kind of meeting is the board of directors. These are the people who are into that kind of meeting. So they are talking about, okay, geographically, which market should we enter into? So they are looking at geographical scope. What should we produce? Diversity of production and services. All right. Okay, we are entering into a market. Should we go and start up there, or we should just buy an entity that is already inside that place, or merge over there? So issues of acquisition and merger. And here, strategy, we also talk about alliances and resource that we need. So resource allocation is also part. All right. So these are the kind of things that are discussed at that level, the corporate level. Then we come to the business level, the business or service strategy. You see, because you are level 3 student, it is easy for me to teach this because, for example, if we are talking about this thing, we are talking about the group of companies. So consolidated. So, you know, this is the company has so many branches under it. And together, when you put all of them together, you prepare group financial statements. You've heard of that before. So the decision-making body that is here at this level is what we are terming as the corporate. All right. But each and every entity, which we call operating segment or a cash generating unit, has its own strategy in competing in the market. So here, when we talk about business strategy, our focus is you having competitive advantage of every business unit. So when we say a business unit, we are not talking about a department. Okay, good. I work in the University of Ghana. So University of Ghana. Now, everything that they do at the University of Ghana, the highest level, we call it the chancellor, right? VC,
Yes.
chancellor,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Or with the vice chancellor. These are the people at the corporate level. But when you descend down, I am in BS. So it comes here, UGBS. Some are in MS. So we call them UGMS, University of Ghana Medical School. I am here, University of Ghana Business School. Now, this is a business strategy. This over here, you come to the Dean of Business School. You've heard it before, right? You've heard it. When you come here, we are looking at the Dean. Now here, we are looking at each individual business unit. So medical school have their own, UGBS have their own. The other schools, because I'm here, I don't even know the other schools. There are other schools. School of Pharmacy is there and whatever. School of Language.
Medicine.
Yeah, they are all there. Have you seen that? So each and every one under. So if you take a Despite, what are some of the companies under Despite? Yes. I don't know them. Who can help me? There's some of the companies under
Special.
Special. Is it special ice? Special, what is that?
They have special ice, special drink. They have so
Uh-huh.
many of
So you
them
see
products.
different. He has a radio station too. Is that not it?
Yes, that's a radio
Uh-huh.
station.
Yes.
Yes. So you see, those are what we call business, the business aspect. So in the radio station must try to be the best among the rest. That is what we are calling competitive advantage, having been the best among the rest. So in each and every business unit or cash generating unit, all right, what you are doing is that it's all about you, the individual business unit, distincting yourself, all right, so that you have an advantage over the others. So that is what that thing is about. All right, that is what it's about. So you see that the head here is the we are looking at the strategic business unit manager. So that is the head of that. But when you come to the top, who is the head here? The head is the board chairman. Have you seen that? The board chairman. He is the head. But here you have the business unit manager. So the kind of planning that happens at this place to be able to achieve. So this is just about a strategy, a series of activities that you are doing that will give you a competitive advantage over your fellow people in that chain, that industry chain. All right. So that is that. And so here we are looking at tactical planning. Tactical planning. Now here you realize that it is more of you being so the business manager, these are your main function. It is more of you being innovative. So what are the technological drives, all right, innovative, that you can bring in, all right? Then here we also, again, Porter says that for you to be having competitive advantage, you must be a cost leader. This is where the problem comes. All that you are doing is that you must reduce your cost of units. That's why MA comes in. So costing. So you must reduce your cost, all right? Make sure that your cost of production is small, and you also must be different. So differentiation. You see, in this industry that we are in, this tuition that we are in, there is a difference in how everybody teaches. It's very different. I have a colleague of mine, Bill, who is very, very good. He's very good. He also has his way of teaching. Everybody has his way of teaching. That's differentiation. You can go to another class where they are teaching you strategic case study. They may not do it like this. Yeah, they may not do it like this. In my corporate reporting class, they may not do it like that. In fact, the way I teach audit is different from the way everybody teaches audit. But I've seen some people are copying. I've already seen that. You know, I'm sorry to say this here, but I used to teach in a different school. And because of some issues, I left. I just don't want to mention the school. And yesterday, a student called me to buy my audit book. Now, I asked the student that, where are you doing your class? He mentioned the name of the institute. I said, so how then did you hear? Because it means somebody else is teaching you. He said, oh, your videos are there. So when somebody joins, they watch. And I said, they are putting themselves in danger because, yes, I get it. Audits, I do it in 5 series of ways. It's straightforward and you can pass easy way. But if you are using my videos to get students, then the person now joins and it is not me that is teaching. Don't you think right there you have kind of thrown the person off his or her expectation? So that kind of thing. Everybody is different in tuition. Very, very different in how the thing works. So that is it. As part of strategy, we that teach you strategy, we also need to understand that we should be distinct in delivery. Yes. Last night, I was told the questions that, it's unfortunate. The questions that I used in corporate reporting, in there had cash flow. It is there. It was the last question. unfortunately, when we got there, students were tired, and I think I had also had an emergency. So at a point, I was asking the student, I have consult foreign and cash flow, but I don't see the consult foreign in the ICA series of questionings now. Let's do the cash flow. Then some of the students said, no, it's a trick. Let's do. So when we do that, by the time we go to the cash flow, everybody was tired. Say it's okay. But I sent them the video of the consult cash flow. So I sent them the video. Unfortunately, when they went, consult cash flow came. But the person who copied my question solved the consult cash flow in his tuition center. That is what happened. It's very, very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. If some of them were here, they will tell you. And I'm talking about ASPA. They use the same question I don't know how the questions, some of you too, when we give the thing to you, you just spread it like that. It's not good. Yeah. So now, if that person treated it and my students, in fact, even in my TEMA class, they said, oh, when I started, I finished the what do you call it? The operating activity. They said they are tired, they don't come. They left. Then they went and the thing came. So you saw one of the students has put on the platform that said, next time, please do what you want to do for us, not what we say. Yeah, and I think it is fair. I've taken that feedback very firmly. Yeah. So that is it. All right. So there must be differentiation, all right, different from your competitors. Your taste must be different. Your delivery must be different. All right. So basically that is that. So that is the business strategy. Then we come to the functional one. The functional strategy. Now, the functional strategy, we are now looking at departments, heads of department. So the component of the organization that is in charge in the effective distribution of resources. So sometimes if the thing is 3, we will limit the distribution to the business unit. But this functional means that we are looking at the part of the organization that is into the resources, the processes, and the people. That is what it is looking at, so that they can utilize the resources well, so that we can achieve that competitive advantage. So here, the focus is on the resources. The focus is on the processes, what people are doing. The focus is on the people. This is a system. Together is what we call a system. So here it is run by the HODs, heads of department. So you are looking at marketing department, finance department, procurement department, all right? So how they are also feeding their operations to help the business unit. So, in every business unit, there is a functional strategy. Because in every business unit, so if you come to UGBS, how many HODs do we have? We have plenty HODs.
Yes.
This one is headed by a dean. But if you come down, we have HOD, head of department. We have so many heads of department. We have for accounting. We have for accounts, right?
Yes.
We have for finance. Have you seen that?
Marketing.
The marketing. So under each function business unit is a functional. If you go to your company too, it's like that. There's an HR, there is a marketing, there is finance, all right, all those things. So how they perform, when they perform, whatever they are doing is to support the business unit, all right, the SBU. They are supposed to support the SBU so that the SBU can now achieve the competitive advantage that we are talking about. All right. Is that okay, please? Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. So now, what do you think the operational one will be about? The operational one will be about supervisors. It will be about supervisors who are on the field. Okay, who are on the field. The operational one, operational strategy, is about supervisors. You see, this one, what they are doing is that they are giving the minute, detailed instruction. So they give the detailed level instruction, specific processes. So when you go to industries where they are producing, where the day-to-day activity is happening, you will see that there are supervisors who are supervising the work that is actually ongoing over there. All right. So basically that is that. All right. So these are the levels. These are the levels. And in each level you are planning. You are also do. So here together with the functional, the type of planning that comes here, we call it operational planning. So how many types of planning have we spoken about? Yes, the planning. How many are they? How many are they? The planning. Not the levels, the planning. The levels, when it ends at the functional, that is the one that is proposed by the JSW. All right. Yeah. So this is the one that the Johnson School and the Wellington, they propose only 3 levels of strategy. So it ends at functional. But your syllabus wants us to talk about the 4. All right. And the planning tool limit is up to 3. So we have the corporate planning or the strategic planning. We have the tactical planning. Then we have the operational planning. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, that ends objective 3 of your introduction. The objective 4 is about this one. The diagram. I think I've closed it. Okay, so this is it. The objective 4 is about this diagram. Elements of strategic management or the strategy framework. That is what it is about. Now I'm going to draw the diagram on the board again, but you can look at what you have. Anyway, I will share this board to your platform. All right, so now let's look at the elements. And that is the exams, basically. So we are looking at the elements.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
So with the corporate level, like, can we say that they will design the policies and other objectives?
Yes, they do. It's part of. So the policies, the mission, and everything.
Okay, so it means that the business and then the function and the operation, they are all working in line with what is
exactly. Exactly. So everything that you are doing it to meet the corporate one.
Oh, okay.
Right. So that is that. So in the diagram, what you see is the first thing you are talking about. You will see the mission. The mission, the vision. All right. You see that. And that goes into, in fact, this model is proposed by the Johnson Schools and Wellington. All right. So you will see that the next thing is internal appraisal. So that will be what we'll be doing next week. Internal appraiser, stakeholder appraiser, and each of them will be a lecture on its own. Stakeholder appraiser. Then we will be doing the external appraiser. So today you could see that we've spoken about this. All right. Then from there, you are looking at the objectives. So you set measurable objectives. Don't forget the SMART objectives. SMART objectives. And with the objectives, once we know our objective, the next thing we are trying to look at is that what are the options we have? What options do we have? So to be able to achieve those objectives. So we'll be looking at strategic options. strategic options. All right, then we will select from that option, which we call the strategic choice. So this is the model. This is what you are using to do your exams. All the exams is like this, all of them. Then you implement it. Strategic or strategy implementation. So this is the model. So the case that will come, of course, when the case comes, I will analyze it for you. All right. And whilst you are doing that, you must take care and do control. You know, the control comes from which course? Man accounting. So strategic control. So you are controlling the thing. And that goes back to these things that you are doing. It goes back to it. So this is it. So in the whole thing that you are doing, there are the JSW, the Johnson Schools and Wellington, categorize everything into 3. So this part that you see, this part, we call it the strategic position. So in the case that you'll be given, that is it. And it looks a little difficult sometimes. So when you get a case, you are going to analyze the position of the entity from this. So, and I'll practicalize this thing for you. Don't worry. Then from here to this place, you are looking at your strategic choice. Your strategic choice. Okay. Then, of course, your strategic action. This is the implementation. So that is your action. Strategic action. Now, let's practicalize this. Let's practicalize this. You want to achieve a pass in this course. That's your objective. That's your mission. Sorry. Because if it's an objective, then you want to say you want 50% pass, 80% pass. It has to be smart, measurable. Okay. But here, the vision or your goal, let me call it like that. Can also call it your goal. Your long-term goal is to pass the ICA exams. So it is written in narrative term. You are also here to have a vision to pass your ICA exams. Your mission is what you are going to be doing to pass the ICA exams. Now, an entity also has the same thing. An entity has the same thing. But right now, what is your position? Where are you? Right now. When we talk about position, we are not talking about your location per se. As part of you aspiring to pass your ICA exam, where are you? Where are you? Have you learned as much or you are now learning? Yes, you are now preparing. So have you seen the question that I'm asking you? You are now,
Yes, sir.
you've now started the learning. So that
Yes.
is your position. That is your position. So in a business too, the same thing. You are going to analyze your position. And that position, you'll be learning 5 things under position. 5 things. 5 things. And we'll be analyzing them into those things that I'm talking about. So first of all, your position as a business. What is your position in the environment? In the environment. The market environment. What is your position? And I will be analyzing the position, the environment into 2. I'll be analyzing the macro environment. And the model we will use to do that will be the pestle analysis. The pestle. So you will learn the pestle. So when you get a case, you are going to analyze the person's macro environment. Not only that, we are also going to measure the person's industrial environment. So we are going to look at the industry. all right, the industry the person is in. And so these are our lecture 2. We will look at that. But again, so it means that the ICA you want to achieve, you've realized that I am your environment. So the industry is me, the class. But macro environment, you consider these things because I can tell you they can off light. You know they can off light right now and the lecture is done. Do you know that?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So you look at the broader picture, the macro. Do you know that politically they can be coup d'etat and everything you think you want to achieve is gone? You know that? Political.
Yes,
do you know that it can even rain? Sad that you cannot even get out to do it. You see the way it is.
yes.
Legislation, technology, we are using technology to do this. So if internet goes fine, we are done. That is the macro aspect. The macro aspect. The industry aspect is you learning your own, like that kind of thing. And maybe the class that you have joined. There are so many classes happening. You chose to join this one. That is it. Understand it from that perspective. Now, number 2, what is your capability? So in terms of when we say where are you, what is your strategic capabilities? Now, and this is where I come in. To be able to pass this paper, this case study is not cheap. It's not cheap, but we will try as much to make it cheap. You will need 5 hours of learning on your own every week. That's the minimum. But if you are somebody who doesn't like reading, you have to top it up with 6 hours. So I ask you, this is why I ask the question. Eugene, will you have the time? Can you do that 5 hours every week? Kay, can you do that? Ifya, can you have that? So you are joining class for 3 hours. Then you alone, you will do 5 hours. Can you do that? Ifya, will we have that time? So you see your position now. It is your position, your capabilities, because it is going to communicate your competency during the exams. That is the thing. But I think if you can have it, you have to make some sacrifices. The weddings, when you go for the church one, it means you don't go for the reception. You have to come back home. Church, when it is finished, you have to come back home. The funeral, immediately you go and you give out your donation, you have to come back home. Until you finish the ICA, this is your abnormal life. Oh. That is your abnormal life. Do you think it's a normal practice for you to go to work, get tired, and come and sit here that you are joining class? You know you are abnormal human beings, all of you that are in this class. You are all abnormal human beings. Because it's not normal for you to close work. You are already tired, but you are here. And you wake up at 2 o'clock and learn again. So you are all abnormal human beings. So that is it. That is it. Is that item 13? That is it. So your position in terms of your competency, your capabilities, and that one, we are going to use the SWOT analysis. So we will use your strength and your weakness. We will discuss that. Have you seen that? We will use the SWOT analysis to do that. Sir. So this thing is all about the models. So we are going to be learning the models, the SWOT analysis, and that will be our lecture 3 on Mondays, not with Wednesdays. Wednesdays is pure FM part. Number 3, we now come and talk about the people in the middle, the stakeholders. Alignment to your common purpose. And this one, I will explain the stakeholders when we get there, because the word stake, it means interest. So whoever has an interest in the business. So not only the shareholders. And that one, that is where we are going to talk about ethics and corporate governance. corporate governance, which is a major thing in audit. So if you are here, you are in my audit class, that one will be easier. And that will be our lecture 4. Then lastly, we will talk about culture. We'll talk about culture. So here, don't forget, we will be looking at the opportunities and threats here. You know, it's SWOT analysis. And we will add it to this one too. So that is it. So here we are going to look at pestle and but again, if your environment is going to be external, there is another model we will use. So you see, it's all about models. If your environment is an external one, I will show you the model that we will be using. We will be using the Potter's diamond. So we will be learning a lot. So the Potter's diamond, we will be learning the models. And so when we get there, I don't want to go ahead of time. So you will learn culture, the culture of the. So how does the culture fit? You see, all these things that we are doing, if we analyze ourselves, the Bible says that if you judge yourselves, you will not be judged. So if we analyze ourselves, we will find out the gaps. You'll find out the gaps. Because you know why? Because we ourselves, we have set our vision and mission. Now, if we analyze ourselves, we will know where we fall short with our vision. That is it. The class that I am doing, in fact, your case study class, this was not the number that I was expecting. I didn't, and Cornelius will remember that, in fact, I actually said that I want to let them send some messages across. Unfortunately, I think the last night when I was teaching them audit, I told them that I won't be doing the case study, but rather I'll be recording the case study videos and put it on YouTube so that they can go and watch it free. So most of them decided to join other school case study. And you know, it's funny. When they join the other school case study, then they will come and watch the video that I have on YouTube. Have you seen their plan? So when I now said that, okay, you know, I've been doing this thing in Tema, so let me now do it online. Then by the time it happened, most of them have gone to register with other schools already. So that one will be a gap on my part. So you see, the vision. So it means that I didn't set the objectives right. So that kind of thing. So we will learn it. And the culture is a very huge, if you have sat the paper before, you will see that culture is a huge part of the course. And we will do that in our lecture 5. Then, if we identify the gap, how will we fill the gap? That is where we discuss it in our strategic choice. And this is what we'll be seeing in the exams. So how are we going to do that? How are we going to do that? So how are we going to compete? So how? Because it means somebody, now that's the question I ask myself. So now that this thing has happened, how am I going to compete? Because tuition centers have taken the students. What do you think I should do? So what I intend doing now is this class that I'm having with you, I will post only this one so that you know and let the students know that the class is happening. Now, how to compete? Do you remember the Potter's 5 forces? That is what we are going to use, Potter's 5 forces. We will learn that model. So that is it. Then the direction of growth. We will learn how then are we going to grow, direction of growth. Please take note of all these things that we are doing. We are going to use the Ansoff model. The Ansoff. We will use that, which is trying to tell us that should we withdraw from the market or we should diversify. So we will learn that. Then, how do we grow? This is the direction. But the third thing is about method of growth. The method of growth. And there are only two methods. The method of growth, what do you think we'll be looking at? We'll be looking at something like acquisition or what? Or merger. Or maybe alliances. So that is it. So these are the things that will happen there. So option for our strategy in terms of the direction, in terms of the model. So we will be learning there. So here is where most of the things happen. So here we will be learning the business strategy. And please, when I say business strategy, what is the fundamental thing the business strategy tries to achieve? Yes, who can help me? Business strategy. Yes, we learned it right now. When we say business strategy, what are you trying to achieve? The business level. What are you trying to achieve? We've mentioned it today. What are you trying to achieve? My people quick forget. You quickly forget. When we were learning the levels, what did we say the business strategy is about? Yes, who remembers?
It focuses on specific business units.
Yeah, but what
and then they
compete
to compete in a particular market, so competitive advantage.
Exactly. So that is that. That is that. All right. So we will take a look back at that. And in fact, so that we can feed our corporate strategy. Our corporate strategy. We are going to learn informational strategies. We are going to learn a lot. Informational strategies. And you see all these things in the document that I shared with you. We are also going to learn entrepreneurship and innovation. So the IT aspect, all right, of the thing. So innovation, that's where the IT things come in. Then here we will do mergers and acquisition. But as for the mergers and acquisition, it will fall under the Wednesday class, all right. It's more of financial management than anything. So all these things that we are doing is to fill the gap. So we did the position. So now if you assess yourself, you want to achieve pass in ICA or your ACCA or your ICAN exam, all right? Now, you've assessed yourself in terms of the environment. You know, sometimes where you live and how you can learn is a problem, especially the mothers. Where you live alone and that you come home and the children are there and all those things. So you assess your environment and you will see the issues. Then you check your capabilities. Now, are you somebody who can learn just 2 hours and you are fine? Are you somebody who can learn 3 hours and you are fine? Are you somebody who can learn 5 hours before you can be fine on one thing? How is it like for you? The parable of the talent. Which one do you have? Naturally, there are some people who, when they learn 1 hour, they are okay. Naturally, there are some people who have to learn 2 hours. And naturally, there are some people who have to learn 5 hours. I belong to the 5 hours people. It takes time for me to understand the thing. So when I sit to learn, I set up my music 3 hours. If the 3 hours is not met, I don't get up. So after 3 hours, then I get up, rest more, then come back again. So that's how I learn. Yeah. So what is yours? Know your capabilities. Please don't make this thing like it's a normal thing. I know how it feels when the results are out. So now don't act as if there is nothing happening in your life. The classes have started. There is nothing like I didn't learn this week. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. So sit down, do your study plan and everything. And I can guarantee you that most of your lecture time, your free time will go into weekends. So please limit the social system. We are meeting here, we are meeting that, we are meeting here, we are meeting that. Me, I'm a church person, and today I'm supposed to be in church for youth service. But there is job to do. So so I won't miss my Sunday church. So that one, I will go. You too, the same thing. Maybe you too, you are like that. Some of the meetings in the evenings, you have to chalk small. Then finish the ICA. When you go and you are giving thanks, nobody will remember that you were not even coming for the evening. So please, the classes have started. Devise your means of how you are going to learn. Please, it's very important. All right. So when you find a gap, then you are coming into these strategies, how you are going to do it to actually achieve. Now, if you find a gap, please, then it means we are left with organizing ourselves. So organizing, we are left with leadership and change. Please, when we say leadership, there is personal leadership. You making a decision for yourself to lead yourself is leadership. All right. So strategic development or strategy development. The practice. You remember the things that you do, the activities that you do, then overall you evaluate yourself. So evaluation is what you see here. That is what you see here in the control. So this is what we will be doing. If you have any case, that is what we will be doing. So please, to guide you, just make sure that whenever you get a question, do this first step for me. So how do you analyze a question? Business analysis or strategic analysis. This is it in your syllabus. I'm going to show you the first step. This is it. Strategic analysis. This is what we are going to do. You see this strategic analysis, it is the same as your strategic position. This is it. And it is 20 marks. Now, in that, these are the things they want us to talk about. Have you seen all these things? We've spoken about this thing already. Now, this stakeholder, mission, vision, objective, balance, scorecard, core values, risk appetite, social responsibility, evaluation of approaches of strategy, all these things, PESTEL analysis, competitive POTES 5-4, group analysis, scenario planning, all these things, logical approach, SWOT analysis, blue sky, such as blue sky. So they use blue sky. All right. All these ones, these are the things that I have already categorized for you. Have you seen all these things? Big data analytics, robotics, and everything. They all go into this one that we are speaking about. They are all here. They are all here. Position. So we will group them under this 4 umbrella. All right, so that you can actually understand it. Short. Now, please, today, get from me the first thing you do in analyzing a case study question. The first thing you do in analyzing a case study question is to do the entity variable. The entity. What entity are we talking about? Is that okay? The question is about what entity. Find out, because how many types of entities do we have? And please, this is corporate. This, your level here, it is a corporate level, final level. All right. So find out the business. Is it an SME? Small, medium, and even if it's an SME, is it a family-owned SME or it is not? Some people have their own farm. So please write this part down. This part is very, very important to me. So the entity the question is about, is it an SME? Is it an SME? Because if it is an SME, family related or anything, you know that you will need to attend closely to the environment. Because yes, attend closely to the environment. To the environment is very, very key. Why? Because of their vulnerability to change. These people, they change a lot. To change. In Ghana, have you seen a business that is a family-owned or an SME that is 50 years old before? Very difficult. Find out in the question, Is the entity that we are talking about, the question is about, is it a multinational entity? Because like I said, this one, apart from all these things you see, check, we are looking at profit and family control, because they are there for next generation to hand over the thing to our the next batch of the children that will be coming. So family control is what they do. But if it is a multinational, please check the geographical market. So please, it is something that should open your eye. Case study is very analytical. And because it is multinational, what are the cultures? Today, I went to an office because I'm a consultant. So I went to an office. I consult for a bitumen company, a petroleum company. They supply bitumen. So now, when I went there, there is one guy who is a Malian. There is another person who is a Zimbabwean. There is a Ghanaian. Of course, the Ghanaians are many. Then there is the UAE people, United Arab Emirates people, the Dubai people in the office. So culture, how many cultures are we talking about? 3, right? Influx. Will it survive? So that is that. Check also if the entity that is in the question is a public sector entity, because it is not for profit. So please, whenever you have a case study question, that is the first thing you need to know. Now, when you finish, you now analyze the strategic position. And I've told you the strategic position, there are 4 things that you are going to do. Do you remember them? I just did them. Do you remember them? Do you remember them? The 4 things. I just drew them before.
Yes.
What are they?
Internal appraisal.
Internal appraiser.
Stakeholder appraisal.
So you are mentioning them differently. This is it. The environment, the strategic capabilities, the stakeholders, the culture. That is for position. All these things are part. You see, the internal, the external is the SWOT analysis. PESTEL is external. Internal, we will look at the strengths and the weakness as part of analyzing them through our balance scorecard and all those things. So if you saw this thing, you will see the balance scorecard as part of the things we need to talk about. It was somewhere here. The culture and balance scorecard. This one fall under stakeholder. So we will group them nicely for you to be able to analyze that part for your 20 marks. Nicely. That's how it will be. That's how it will be. So that is that. So we will do the SWOT analysis. We will do the Porter's value chain. We will do the balance scorecard. We will do resource audit. We will do the BCG matrix. We will do the product life cycle. All those things are here. We will do all of them. So so when we get to this part, strategic capabilities, we will look at the balance scorecard. We will look at resource audit. We will look at Porter's value chain. We will look at the SWOT analysis. We will look at the BCG matrix. We will look at the 5 forces. I will be posting some videos on your Telegram platform. You will be watching them in advance so that you enjoy. Then we will come to the strategic choices. Then we will take the organization. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the 4th thing we wanted to achieve in this class. So we will look at that. So let's do the last part, then we are done for today. The last part, which is a very simple discussion that we are going to do. So let me show you from your notes. Where is your notes? Have I deleted it already? Okay, let me bring it up and let's discuss it shortly. In 5 minutes, we are done. These are the that I spoke about. We spoke about this. So all these things, these are what we'll be doing. The choice, these are the things that we will do in action to these are the things that we'll be doing. All right, so this is the diagram for it. So what I want to discuss lastly is the strategic drift. All right, what is a strategic drift? When we say a strategic drift, we are just describing a situation whereby you, the organization, you are making simple steps. All right, you are making a gradual steps. Okay, but that steps that you are making those gradual steps whilst things are changing fast. So things are changing fast. You are making a gradual step. So we say that a strategic drift describes a situation where organizations strategy gradually, if imperceptible, moves away from the forces at work in the environment. Basically, what we are saying is that you, the organization, you are making simple steps. Look at the steps. This is the amount of change, and this is the time. Now, look at the steps the organization is making. 1, 2, step. It's a change that they are making. But look at the way the environment is changing. You see the environment curve. Look at the way the curve of the environment is changing. Look, you see the shape, the way that it is changing. But you are making a gradual step. So that is a strategic drift. Your change is not meeting up the speed of growth in the environment. That's what we call a strategic drift. Now, it has 4 phases. So the phase 1, you see clearly that the organization takes logical incremental steps. All right. But you can also see in trying to achieve competitive advantage, but you can also see that the environment is growing faster. Then in stage 2, you realize that as the environment is growing faster, your incremental change, is not meeting up with the environmental movement, the environmental change. And so you are lagging behind of the thing. You are lagging behind. It's happening with so many of us in our workplaces. So you see the young ones are coming with technology, but you are trying to use technology, but you using technology is not at the faster pace like the way the young ones are using it. You are making incremental change, but they are going fast. And so that is what we call the strategic drifts. All right. Now, because of that, what happened is that there will be a flux, or what we call inertia, or a denier. So what does that mean? You realize that the managers therefore seek to kind of have the market. They want to make an action to seek to extend the market, but they are doing so using past glories. Like some of the tuition centers, the past glories, things are changing. They are not changing. I have worked in an institute called the Center of Business Studies. When things were changing, we didn't change fast. And so we realized that we were relying on past glories, thinking that students will come. Even my school at Tema, at a point, that's how it felt. We think that the students themselves will come because of the past glories. But people are using technology. They are reaching out to you students, sending you WhatsApp message, text messages and things. We think that because we have been successful, people will come. So relying on the past glory, using that assumption, we realize that, then you see that you are lagging way behind. So because if it is not successful, that is where it puts you in a state of a flux. You don't have any clear direction. There is nothing that you are doing. You are relying on overconfidence of your past glory. And so there is no clear direction of what you have to do to get more students. And so what happens is that the industry, you take 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Have you seen it? This is what happens to you. You lack direction. There is no forward movement. You go, you come back, you go, you come back. The last phase is a transformational stage or a demise. It's either you make steps to, then this one is what you do in corporate reporting. The last stage is called reconstruction, where you reconstruct yourself to bounce back, or you just fall off the cliff. You just collapse the business. So that is it. And you see, the causes of this are the cultural influences, the power of structures within an organization, then the effect of the politics that is happening. It happens a lot. Those are the causes. Those are the causes of such. All right. So as an organization, what then do you need to do? You need to be fast. Be flexible to react to the changes. Break down the barriers. If you are too hard, they don't want to break any barrier. You see, a student called me. He said he wants to join the case study class, but he will pay at the end of the month. Yeah, sometimes you can look at it and help. But for me, I don't believe in that. I believe in that if you want something, you save to get the thing. I told the person that, yes, you may not be able to pay all, but you should be able to pay something. Pay some portion. But if you don't pay that portion, I didn't even give an amount to. I said pay something so that you commit to it. So you could have even sent 100 Ghana. Are you telling me that one you don't have? No, but this is a person I know who is working in a company for the government. So when it happens like that, you think, this man, what did he thought of? Yeah. So I feel like value, there has to be value. So break down that value, that culture of credit. Break it down, because at the end of the day, you will still pay. So just break it down. Pay once and for all, it's gone. All right. So that kind of thing. So you break down certain barriers of change. All right. In the organization, you break down certain cultures. You move on. All right. So that is that. Then you have a clear vision to move. All right. So basically, that is that. So that is it for the day. All right. But you have a question to do. Remember, how many exercises are you doing for me before the next Monday? There is one here, exercise 1, which I will just look at the answers, because there is no right or wrong answer. Yeah, it's just that if the mark is 10, how much would you think you would have gotten? Is it close to the 10 or like 5 or something? Then you come here, you tell me what should be in using the 9 elements of a mission statement, the matrix. All right. So then this one is supposed to be exercise 3. All right, where you are going to tell me the strategic statements. All right, you are going to do that. Then lastly, what you will do is this question. This is how your exam look like. It has a look of your exam. So Airbnb, look at it, read everything. The growth is here, how Airbnb started and everything. Sometimes when they bring this thing in your exams, people are, hey, so how am I going? No, take your time. Internalize it and reflect it with what you have learned. All right. So go through it. And what you are going to do is, and you have this statement in there, it's like a conversation. And what you are going to do after reading everything are these things that we have learned. So in 35 words, what strategy would you propose for Airbnb? And if you have done the first assignment, you have learned how to write a strategic statement. So you should be able to do that. Then do you remember the horizons, the 3 horizons? Horizon 1 is about what? Yes, it's about
business.
Core business. 2, yes.
Emerging markets.
Emerging market. 3.
Research and development.
Not really. It's about the future prospects.
The future. Okay, future prospects.
Yes, which is influenced by research and development. So you read the thing, you find out what you are supposed to do. How might this analysis affect the future strategic direction? So that is that. Then using the heading of environment, strategic capabilities, strategic purpose, culture. What does it remind you of? Which part of the analysis? Which part is about it?
Strategic position.
Position. You see. So you are the ones going to do that, but we will do this one together. All right, on Monday. So following off the previous questions, what alternative strategy can you do? So just think about it and come up with something. Converting good strategic thinking into action can be of a challenge. Examine how MBNB has achieved that. All right. So you read a question. Please don't. One thing I wouldn't like is that Monday has come. You didn't do anything about it. Then if you do that, how then do you expect that you make it in the exams? That's the point. How? because I'm building you up in how to do this. All right. Other than that, when the thing come plenty like that, you know, if you have seen your pre-scene before, you see it's a plenty stuff. All right, but you need to develop the capacity of doing that. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this will be it for the class. And thank you very much for having me. If there is any question at this point, you can ask. Thank you.